Okay, people, what's up? Um, this is motherfucking We All We Got. I like to think it's episode 11 or 12. I don't know. I'm about to just stop putting episode names on them or numbers. But it's We All We Got. We in here. Shout out to my homie Miguel. Forgot what the homie last name is. But I know it's Bay. Something L Bay. You know what I mean? And this episode is really gonna be about, it's twofold for real. The homie was on Facebook. You dig it? He made a video, and this dude I like talking to him. I like debating with him. He always a good debate. You know what I'm saying? There's never no real stupid shit coming out. You feel me? It's always shit that makes sense. So he a good dude to debate against. Niggas went to school together or whatever. Shout out Mervo, class of '04. It's been a minute. But, he put a video out, and like I said, I want to promote the video and give a response. So, not a response, but just my thoughts on it. So, it's twofold. Instead of just sharing the shit, I could have just shared it. But, I'm going to share it and respond. How about that? Niggas spent like 35 minutes putting together a video, talking and shit. Every now and then you gotta let niggas know that shit ain't falling on deaf ears. I don't think nobody be listening to me, but I do. I try anyway. You know what I'm saying? If you build it, they will come. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at it. But yeah, the homie would go. The thing that got my attention about this video is, you know what I'm saying, like it. I'm only gonna have the audio playing. But the shit, every single thing that he spoke about, and the shit, like, it's fascinating to me because I agree with every single thing that he said. But the thing is, I only agree with all of this shit and I don't agree with it all together, but I agree with everything individually. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listen to this shit, you'll hear him say at some point he say, he been studying the laws of the universe for 13 years. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that. Seems that he definitely know what he talking about. But for me, what I've been studying, my field of study has been, in storytelling. So I'm all about a cohesive narrative, and it's the topic seems to be cohesive, but the narrative doesn't. Like, it's just like a bunch of shit being said that I agree with, but I just don't agree with how any of it connects with. You know what I'm saying? Like it's loosely connected on some shit. Like it's like a conversation that was had but didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? It's weird. That's why it's fascinating to me, because it's rare that you get into situations like this where you agree with somebody but you disagree at the same time. And that's even weird to say, because I don't disagree. I just don't understand what the fuck was actually being said and why. This shit super weird. You also gonna hear the homie say at some point that he call himself a mentalist. Mentalist is basically, the study of the mind. It's not complicated. Maybe understanding it is, but, knowing what it is not. I'm not a mentalist. I consider myself a mathematician and a scientist. And this is where I'm having issues. Because 1+1 is just not equaling 2 in this conversation. You know what I mean? Like it's there, but it's not there. I don't really get it. You feel me? It's what we call in science a unknown X. You feel me? You go to do fractions and shit, they start putting that x in there in algebra. You like, what the fuck is this x supposed to mean? You gotta find that value for x. Well, this whole conversation is like a fraction with an x in it, and that x is just not being provided for me anyway. Like I said, each of the elements I understand, but I just don't understand how this shit connects together. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this shit now, so you can hear what I'm talking about, and I'm just gonna stop it at times and make little comments here and there. All right, here we go. The video is called "Harmony is Greater Than Love and Balance, and love and balance at their best combined." So he's gonna attempt to explain why harmony is greater than love and balance, and for the most part I can follow it. But like I said, as far as storytelling, the narrative is incohesive. This conversation would be considered a group of short stories. You know what I'm saying? It's not a single narrative. You know what I'm saying? It's a single topic, but not a single narrative. I hope I ain't say it. I hope that's not the third time I said that. All right, here we go.
Peace. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Energy and vibration. Alright, so I wanted to. It's kind of been on my nappy head for a little bit to explain certain things. It's something that I learned from studying people in the direction how people been going in.
See, yeah, so it's like I gotta let the setup play, because it's like this is the part that puts you in the frame of mind of understanding, like, okay, this is supposed to be about our people. He about to get on some what black people need to do type shit, but then it kind of doesn't go in that direction. It goes in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? So just bear with me for a little bit. Like, it's once it get to like 240, I think that's when element of note comes up. So here we go.
And the position how people been manipulated into going in, which is like to have misinformation, like what I have in the post. Harmony is greater than love and balance at their best combined.
Once again, shout out to the homie Miguel, man. You looking good, brother. I see you. You're saying I shouldn't even be qualified to talk to this nigga or talk about him. The homie, he a vegan. He all in shape, looking good. I'm all shot up in here, fat now, or extra fat now. You know what I'm saying? But that's just, I want to try to make it, reiterate the fact that I got a lot of love and respect for this brother. And I'm just trying to further the conversation in a way that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be the only person that gets kind of lost in translation in this cool conversation. So, here we go once again.
People do not understand universal laws. Harmony is actually the law of harmony. Very rarely do you even hear something called the law of love or the law of balance, because they're not really love. They're not really laws. And it's like just subtle errors. And me as a mentalist, which a mentalist is not like those people that do tricks on stages. A mentalist is somebody that understands the law of mentalism.
Basically, like I said, the study of the mind. That's what a mentalist is. A person that studies the mind and how it works and its relation to, reality and cause and effect as far as human beings go. why we do the things that we do. What does this mean in relation to that? You know what I'm saying? It's just the study of the mind. I just overcomplicated it. I apologize.
And universal laws and principles. And I understand with with the law of mentalism, what it teaches is the law. Everything is mind. And what's been going on when people be missing is that.
Okay, this is my second time listening to it, so I'm kind of understanding. It's one or two things that's coming together, but I didn't not understand those. I'll let you know where I start getting lost at.
The very foundation of man is being attacked, and attacked successfully.
Okay.
And people don't know, one, where the attack is occurring, two, who the enemy is that's attacking in the first place.
But that shit don't get explained here.
So but to the point,
I'm gonna be making jokes too.
Which is a law.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I like to make jokes about shit, yo. So, once again, I got a lot of love and respect for this brother. But, I'm not going to call myself funny. That's a bit self-indulgent. But I like to make jokes and shit. So, I'm going to be making jokes about some of this shit. But I really take it very seriously. And like I said, I got a lot of love and respect for brother, for my homie Miguel. And that's why I'm doing this video. I'm taking some time out to address, what he took his time out to address. You know what I'm saying? In a show of solidarity. Solidarity, yeah, that's it. And I'm also gonna make fun of some of this shit that don't make sense to me. So, just don't take it personal, homie. It's not nothing personal, just my style of doing things. I make fun of myself too.
I'm looking out. And harmony is actually a universal law. On understanding the prophet brought love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I'm not disputing any of that. I'm not fighting any of that. I just recognize the issue, a war tactic that's working, and I'm going to do the best I can to help prepare people. Because as a mentalist and as a student of universal law, you got to do what you can to help people, and especially when they don't know they need to be helped.
See, now I agree with that. Like I said, most of this shit I agree with. I believe, in my own words, that as human beings, we kind of have an obligation to one another. We have an obligation to the world that we live in at large. You know what I'm saying? We have an obligation to teach. We have an obligation to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're obligated. I think this is where we fail as a human race. You know what I'm saying? When we neglect our obligations. You know what I'm saying? And we go a selfish route of just wanting more and more and more instead of, taking what we need. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. Continue.
So, harmony, right? The thing, like, people say they want love, right? They want love. Everyone wants love. And as if it's a thing to go get. When it's really clear that the word love is a verb. It's something you do. And once that thing that you do is over, love is over. And the reason I talk for people to understand is because it's been used as a commercial tactic. Like, people use love as some false sense of freedom or control, that you can just use the word love and it means something that you want it to mean, when it's not how it works. It actually has a meaning, it has an origin, it has a parent, and you're gonna hurt yourself. I understand that they put a lot of
Now, what I'm getting from this part is like something like love is some shit, like it's emotional. You know what I'm saying? It's in essence, it's unquantifiable. You know what I'm saying? Meaning it's not able to be expressed. It's not able to be measured, because it's able to be expressed, but it's not able to be measured. and harmony, which is something that he's gonna say is greater than love and balance. Harmony can be measured. You know what I'm saying? You can measure something in harmony, like you know, yeah. If you make enough money to pay your bills and you know what I'm saying, go buy your clothes and go have fun and you know grow your bank account and all of this shit at the same time. That's you kind of in harmony with your life and your finances and shit like that. You know, but if you're not making enough money to pay your bills and buy your clothes and pay your car note and all this other shit, then you know you kind of lack in harmony. That's kind of how I'm looking at the situation. Cause this going to speak to some of the shit he about to talk about later on, you know, coming up. But that's how I read that whole part. You know, love is something that emotional that can't be quantified. You know, and balance is something that's too vague and it's often misunderstood. But harmony is something that can be quantified. It can be measured, and it's scientific in nature.
A lot of crap on TV about love, a lot of advertisements through what is called heterosuggestion. And you have some type of emotional affinity with this word love. And again, the prophet brought the word, love, one of the first ones. But to not understand universal law and to not understand universal principles is to understand nothing. If you don't understand it, right? Let's just start with basics, right? Understand. The conscious community like this understanding word. Whatever, love it. I couldn't care. But understanding is standing under something so you can see what. But let's get into exactly what the.
I skipped that shit. I only skipped up a couple seconds.
Topic is about harmony is greater than love, and I haven't even talked about balance. But let's talk about balance. Balance is something that you get. Balance is something that you get at the end of something. Like when you go to the restaurant or you get your plumbing worked on, at the end of the day, they give you a balance. You get a balance. Balance is something that occurs at the end of something. It's a term. So it's like you see women a lot, especially sisters in the conscious community, or the woke community, or the whistleblower community.
See, now this is where shit kind of went off a little bit. Because this is what happens when you're dealing with something that's incohesive. It's a lot of different things get jumbled together, and this is a perfect point for me to stop to talk about what I'm saying and keep my shit in cohesion. So this is where things kind of go off the rails for me, because the whole conversation that you heard me talked about, where we and us and how we ain't doing this, that, and the third. Now, the rest of this conversation is going to be about women and their connection or their understanding of what harmony is and how it relates to them. Like the rest of this shit is going to be about that. And that's one thing that confused me. And this is a notable section of it where the shit kind of goes off when it talks about balance. Okay, so he basically talking about a balance sheet. After somebody come in, do some plumbing, they hand you a balance sheet. The balance sheet is I got this shit right here. A statement of the assets, liabilities, and capital of a business or other organization at a particular point in time, detailing income and expenditure. Income and expenditure. Basically, it's a finance sheet. That's a balance sheet. That's what you get at the end of something. Now, balance in and of itself comes in two ways. It comes in noun and verb. The ways that he's using it, he's basically using all three. He's using the noun version of balance, the verb version of balance and balance sheet and combining it all together into one thing. That's why I think I'm gonna title this shit duct tape theory. You know what I'm saying? Like duct tape. You know that gray ass tape that you just use on everything. That's what this whole conversation feels like to me. Like a nigga taking a bunch of shit that's relevant and valid and sort of taping it all together to make it, make one fucking Frankenstein, some fucking Frankenstein, intellectual Frankenstein monster or some shit. I guess it's just not working. So, balance as a noun, a condition in which different elements are equal or in the correct proportions. Balance as a verb, offset or compare the value of one thing with another. So those are two different definitions for the same word. One was a noun, one was a verb. And just like all of that shit is kind of combined. But, this is where it kind of goes out the rails for me. And let's continue.
However you want to say it, you see a lot of women that want balance. When, like I said, if you have balance while you're alive, through suggestion, like you're suggesting that you want something to end. When that's not what you mean when you say it.
Alright, well, that shit don't make no sense to me whatsoever. Well, like I said, it's taking the word balance and the balance sheet and sort of combining it. This is how shit be. I ain't gonna say what I'm gonna wait till later to say what I was gonna say just now, because we're gonna keep this on the positive at the moment, because I don't want things to be misunderstood. And once again, we is gonna keep this productive, I think, or at least I'm gonna attempt to. And let's continue on.
Balance is not something that you want. What you actually, balance, the thing that's the problem with it is that balance is actually a masculine term. It's not really a feminine term. And to go back before you go forward, to start at the basics, you have to understand the law of gender. If you do not understand the law of gender, your assessment of a thing, of what a thing is, and your approach to do a thing is going to be disproportionate. There is nothing in existence that isn't feminine and masculine. You have to understand what they are at their core. And once you know what they are at their core...
See? Like, all of this shit, it's like you can't argue the individual points. Like, all of the individual points, it's like they all that shit is correct. Damn near everything he's saying is correct. All throughout this whole, 35 minutes of conversation is all like, I agree with every last bit of it. But how it pertains and connects to one another, especially given how the conversation started, maybe I just thought it was going to go in a different direction. And then he pulled the fucking M. Night Shyamalan on me or something, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking about this shit. And, A to fucking B, like A to B to C. And this shit is like going from A to D to F to C to Z to M. Like, this shit going all over the fucking place. All of them are letters in the alphabet, but, they do have a particular order that they supposed to go in, you feel me?
It's no way to fail. It's impossible to fail. It's impossible to be in scarcity. It's impossible to have poverty. Because to put a thing where it's supposed to be and to be where you're supposed to be is abundance. Because if your arm or my face or a plant is what it's supposed to be, which is made up of cells, which one cell turns into two cells turn into four turn into eight, which is what's called compounding, which is what all divine things do. They do not grow. They compound. See, like even that right there, subtly. You want to grow as a person. You don't grow, you compound. It's just like,
I understand that. Compounding is basically like when you say grow. Basically, in this instance, this is how I see it. It's basically like experience or wisdom is compounding of experience over time. You know what I'm saying? You experience different things, you learn lessons, all that shit compound, and one lesson connects to another lesson, you know, it connects to another lesson, and that shit becomes wisdom. And wisdom is growth in human beings. You know, it's not, you're not getting any taller, but you are maturing, you know what I'm saying, and growing as an individual. So I understand that shit. Compounding. So like I said, I'm doing this part to let you know that I get it, but I don't get it. Alright, let's go.
What's the difference? What difference does that make? The difference that makes is if I'm 100 feet from a wall.
Oh, he fucked me up with this 100 feet from a wall shit. Let's hear this.
And I'm applying the brake to not hit the wall, right? And the difference is if I think I'm going 20 miles per hour, but I'm going 80, I'm going to hit that wall. That is the difference between growth and compounding, which is
that shit ain't make no sense. What the fuck? Yo, that's my favorite part. Yo, the homie said, if I'm at the wall and I get to the wall and I take 3 steps towards the wall, I just compounded my, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't think that's what it mean, bro, but maybe that's what you meant by it. That shit ain't make no sense whatsoever. Let's continue on.
It's one word: urgency. You're not living with the level of urgency you're supposed to. You don't understand what's going on because you don't know the basics. You think you grow. You're a human being. You do not grow. It's a lot of things you don't understand. That's just extremely basic. And I'm driving the point home because once you understand the basics, nobody can play with you. Nobody can do whatever they want with you. It's impossible. You have to understand the basics. Law of gender, masculinity and femininity, which is why I bring up the law of habit. The law of harmony, because the law of harmony is the goddess of femininity. With the goal to balance, right? Again, balance is something you get at the end. You get a balance, like at the end of the month for your bank. That's when you want something to be. Oh, and I'm saying this as a Libra. I'm telling you that you don't want balance. I'm not for balance because it doesn't solve the problem. The problem isn't just to have it go away because it's not going to go away. It's going to come back. We're dealing with no problem that our ancestors didn't deal with. We're dealing with the same problem. You want harmony. Harmony. Now I posted something on my page where I actually made this first post. It's a law. This is the universal law of harmony. The first.
All right, now what I'm gonna say about balance is I think people misinterpret balance as being something that's supposed to be 50-50. You know what I'm saying? But I always like to explain it like this. You know, if you take 100 pounds of sand and 100 pounds of feathers, you know, like feathers that you put in a pillow, 100 pounds of feathers and 100 pounds of sand, they both weigh 100 pounds, right? But the mass that is the amount of room that it's going to take to get 100 pounds of feathers and the amount of room that it's going to take to get 100 pounds of sand is not going to be the same. So these two things have they have a balance, but you know what I'm saying, they they don't share the same mass. So I think that's where people get things misconstrued when it comes to balance. People look at it as 50-50 when it's not. Balance can be 90-10. You know what I'm saying? And I think, that's how I look at it when it comes to positivity and negativity. Because negativity, like you can get compliments all day and somebody say one negative thing and that negative thing sticks with you. You see what I'm saying? Where all of that positive shit that was said, it kind of goes out the window. You know what I'm saying? So, because I think negativity is denser. It weighs more than positivity. Negativity would be the sand or the steel, and positivity would be the feathers. It's light and fluffy. It take a lot of it to really fulfill you. But, negativity is just like it only take a little bit to weigh all of that positivity down. But, that's my explanation of it anyway. Continue.
The first, foremost, and most important of all the 20 universal laws is the law of harmony. Most of the time you see me giving you something, I'm giving you the most important thing. I don't give you fluff and stuff. I give you stuff that's fundamental, that if you take it and run with it, you're going to be successful. I don't do maybe, I don't do might, I don't do it kind of. There's nothing, you can't find a person that I told information to that it didn't dramatically change that situation. I don't do maybes and mights and can'ts and try. I don't try. You do a thing, you don't do a thing. The law of harmony is a fundamental law of existence.
See, I can't argue that. This nigga, I'm having weight problems and he in better shape than me. Even though I seen some of them vegan meals you be putting up, bro, them bitches be looking disgusting. Look like motherfucking leaves and water. Niggas be eating grass and water with spaghetti noodles. Like, what the fuck is that? That shit almost made me throw up one time. I said, God damn. You know what I'm saying? But look, with my high blood pressure and shit, I can't be talking shit about niggas, you know what I'm saying? I can't say if a nigga a good life coach or whatever, but I believe him. I believe that a nigga got some game, because like I said, I agree with all the shit that he's saying. I just don't understand how it all come together.
That represents femininity, and I'm going to explain to you and show you exactly how it is. So balance, right? This is why women struggle, because in its nature, something has to end. Balance actually is it's almost like killing. It's killing something. It's a mass.
Yeah, that's another thing. Balance being masculine, harmony being feminine. I don't understand that. Maybe balance doesn't work for women. But, to say balance is masculine, but then have the shit be titled harmony is greater than love and balance combined at their best. Like, what exactly are you saying? You know what I'm saying, like, there's a lot of shit that just don't, math and science was my favorite subjects in school. So that's how I see the world. Everything has to, if shit don't add up, I ain't fucking with it. And, but this is not 1 + 1 = 2 type of shit. This is like this is a fraction with an X in it. All the other numbers I understand, but it's an X there, and I can't, this shit just like unexplained. I'm supposed to get what the X is explained to me in this conversation, and it's never really explained.
Masculine thing is not feminine at all. To have a balance, and you even to even see women talk about it is evidence of social engineering. Like, there's no reason for a woman to want balance. Harmony, on the other hand, which I define harmony as a synergistic integration into something lightward. A synergistic integration of something lightward. Harmony.
What the fuck that
harmonious. And you go back and you look at why you women want balance, because it's an idea that it will award them something. It will give them something. When you look at the word harmony, it's not too far off from her money. It's extremely close. That's why we have the discourse that we have, because we do not understand the law of gender. We don't know where we belong. That subtle change is devastating. That's like you having the wrong part in your car. For a woman to want balance when you need harmony, synergistic integration of something like harmony.
All right, so now money is being brought up. So is he talking about, as far as finances is concerned? You feel me? That's what I'm. It's like this shit is not being explained. Like I'm kind of catching that it's about finances. Are you saying that, because right now we have an issue in our community of, women being the breadwinners, and that's kind of how we being attacked. You know what I'm saying? Men are being devalued because, we're being devalued because we don't have the financial backing to be head of household anymore. You know what I'm saying? Men, we not the breadwinners. Women are the breadwinners. And I'm guessing this is where this harmony and balance shit is coming into play. So I'm getting that. But like I said, I think, maybe the homie, he ain't have no notes or nothing like that. He ain't had nothing to come back and refer to. You know what I'm saying? You gotta reiterate this shit. I'm duct taping this shit together myself. This definitely gotta be titled Duct Tape Theory. Niggas are just putting this shit together. You see what I'm saying? Like, I understand all of the elements, man. This is why this is fascinating to me once again. And that's what I'm getting from it though. At this point, women are the breadwinners, and men are being devalued. And I think women are still expecting the shit to be like the olden days, you know what I'm saying, or a balance as far as I should be getting paid as much as she getting paid, or something like that, when that's not the case. Or we should have the same type of education, but that's, I don't want to make this shit all convoluted. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna stick to the script for right now.
Suggests that there is, and it even suggests wisdom. It even lets you know that there's something working within the thing. You have to. It's like, and I'll use this example to explain. Love, right? It's crazy. Love. Like if you have somebody to say, I love you, right? And like we know as adults what the highest level of love is. It's mutual. It's when the love is mutual. It's like if a woman say, I will go to the end of the earth for him, right? And the husband or the guy says, I would shrink the earth so she wouldn't be that far away from me. See, that's mutual. That right there is the sweetest of sweet. That's love. We know it's mutual. If somebody, let's just say they substituted the language, right? Because right now we know that mutual love is the highest love. When it's mutual, when it's one-sided, it's almost abusive. You know what I'm saying? But when you have
when it's shit, almost it is abusive, even if it's not physical. People can be abused emotionally and spiritually too. But I wasn't stopping that because I agree with that shit. And I ain't had nothing to interject, nothing negative to say.
Both parties have this mutuality of what we call love. It's the highest level of love. And let me explain harmony. If somebody came to you, or you had a daughter or a friend that came to you and told you about a guy, or you had a son or a nephew that came to you and told you about a woman, and their explanation to you was, we harmonize. It's an entirely different experience. It's an entirely different conversation. It suggests at a minimum that mutuality is the basis of harmony versus love, which mutuality is the best it can do.
Okay, now, I think this is just like wordplay at its finest. You know, it's basically somebody said harmony instead of saying love, and more value is being placed on the word harmony over the word love, which I do kind of understand. But like, it's just like fucking, if I say ambulance and somebody say ambulance, like, we basically saying the fucking, they know exactly what I'm talking about. I know what they talking about. It's just like a difference in words. I mean, it's a difference between having different words and having different definitions. But I will give them that, you know, we do lack specificity, I think. And I'm pretty sure that's what he's getting at, or at least that's what I think anyway. He's kind of getting at the fact that motherfuckers need to be more specific about what they looking for and what they trying to get. You know what I'm saying? If you just on some vague shit like love, something that's unquantifiable, then you probably going to end up with something that's unquantifiable, like some shit that's just anything, instead of looking for something specific like harmony. That is a very specific thing. You know, it suggests mutuality, cohesion, and cooperation. You know what I'm saying? Because love can be one-sided, but I don't think harmony can. And I think that's what he's getting at, far as at his basis. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what he was talking about. So we on the same page on that one.
At a minimum, harmony provides a level of mutuality that love can never provide.
Yeah.
Because love is a verb. It is not a noun. That is a fact. Harmony is a noun. It is something that is stable. Women think balance is stability. Balance suggests debt. Even the word balance suggests that there's a problem there.
Not necessarily, but, you know, I'll just go with it.
A balance is something that has to occur when there's some insolvency occurring. So there has to be a solution to solve the insolvency. It's in the language itself. You don't even have to be smart. You can use the very word, and you can see how clear it is. Harmony suggests success. It suggests wealth. It suggests abundance. With the word alone. You don't even have to be special. We don't even have to get into the law of harmony. So you can see the value, moreover, of when you have somebody like myself that has spent, I was 13 consecutive years studying universal law versus somebody that may have seen it on YouTube, and I was initiated.
See, full disclosure, I'm one of them somebody seen it on YouTube niggas. All of this motherfucking the law of the Grey Goose, and the laws of motherfucking Cheetos, and the laws of Netflix. I don't know nothing about all that extra shit, you know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm saying about language. People be saying the same thing sometimes, but you know, it be just different words getting used.
So I know what I'm talking about. When you in law of harmony is one of the most peaceful. Like, we have love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Law of harmony is what creates love, peace, and justice by itself. Law of harmony is equivalent to those three by itself.
I don't really know what that means, but fuck.
The other part with femininity is wisdom. Femininity is not nurturing. It's not all this other stuff. It's literally harmony and wisdom. And femininity, from the law of gender, is about standards.
Okay, now why is femininity wisdom though? Like what makes it that? I'm not understanding. But let's continue on.
That's why it's a synergistic integration of something like as a standard.
That shit was fancy as
that's maintained through femininity, because femininity is magnetism. Like a magnet, like you can pull certain things. Like the power of, and now I'll go right. This will take me.
See, now this is where I think he about to start talking about attraction and repulsion and shit like that. But when he get to the part where he say what he's saying, I'm a interject again, cause this whole thing about magnets is very important. It's the one thing. It's one of the other elements that make me not understand exactly what's being said sometimes, cause it's like well, let me
right into the law and beyond. The power of your magnetism, which you draw to you, is dependent upon the polarities of the thing, right? Or the polarities of you. So that's why in the law of attraction, which is a half law, which is the last thing I'm gonna do, and I'm done. You get a lot of the fluff crap and all of the stupid crap is fake. As somebody that's initiated, I'm telling you the truth. I'm gonna tell you two truths. There's one principle that we all know about it, is that you attract what you are. That's the only thing you attract. And it does that, just because you attract it don't mean you can keep it. That's the other part. That's the other part. You may be attracting it and getting it to the same way you can go in Sam's Club or Whole Foods and get a sample. Like it could be the same thing.
See, now that's why he gonna go on more about repulsion and attraction and shit like that. But then he mentioned magnets, and everybody know that opposites attract when it comes to magnets, and the same, like negatives repel one another, positives repel one another. So you, in essence, you don't attract what you are, you attract the opposite of you. And this is a whole nother thing of somebody taking scientific terms and using it to explain like relationships or some shit like that, something that's kind of unquantifiable. You feel me? Because science and math and shit like that makes sense. So when you use it, you kind of have to adhere to all of the rules thereof. You know what I'm saying? You can't just pick and choose what shit you want to pick out. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this sound good and that sound good. And if I take this element of it and just throw it in there and say you attract, you know what I'm saying, the magnetism and the polarity, you attract what you are. I mean, but negatives don't attract. Negative attract positive. So in essence, you attract what you're not. But let's continue on.
And that is only a half law. When you deal with real initiates, the people those of us that's actually been trained or been shown by the universe itself and taught and took to the, like, I'm going to say to the Cosmic Breakfast or the universal school, we know. Like, if you get somebody that's so-called elitist or somebody in one of these orders, I call them private orders, I don't call them secret societies, they just private. They'll tell you, and they'll back up what I'm about to tell you.
I appreciate that shit, because I was getting so sick of that Illuminati talk. Boy, about 5 years ago, y'all niggas was losing y'all mind. Illuminati this and man, shut the fuck up about that. So what? Yeah, alright. Illuminati exists, now what? What I'm supposed to do, just go fucking sit in a hole somewhere? But I'm gonna leave that alone, because thank you, brother. Fuck that shit.
The law of attraction is a half law. It's half correct. It's really fake. It's really not a law. That's fake, because if I had half my body, I would be here.
Well,
it's not real. It's called the law of attraction and repulsion.
Oh, shit.
And I'll explain to you real quick why that makes sense. If I went out and got furniture,
oh, there you go, some more examples.
And it was furniture still in my house, I would have to get the bad furniture out and then bring in the good furniture.
Okay.
Make sense? If I was funky and my body was stinky and I wanted to look good, like, you know, I wanted to buy new clothes. If I just don't wash, I gotta take these clothes off and I don't clean my body and I put the new clothes on, the funk is gonna affect. I'm in the same situation with newer clothes. So that's what repulsion adds to the. That's why a lot of people struggle. You just do the law of attraction. You bring crap in, but you haven't moved the other crap out so it can stay. You understand? Because why can't it stay? Like, you just feel to stay. I can just move this. No.
So now we referring to like emotional baggage or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm guessing the furniture is like emotions or past relationships or something. That shit is cool and all, but what the fuck that got to do with harmony? I don't know. Let's continue though.
Oh, law of physics says two objects can't occupy the same space at the same time. So do you see how I just connected two laws?
No.
You will next to never get any of that from anybody.
Oh yeah.
That's why I said earlier, women have to remove vowels from their language and incorporate, which is literally harmony. The word harmony. It's basic stuff. It's really simple, and it does you a favor.
That shit was both simple and complicated. That's like when a nigga say you smarter than a dumb motherfucker. Like, not to say that homie right here is smart or dumb. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know.
But you're going to recreate the same situation. The law of attraction and repulsion. So as somebody that whoever ends up watching this, and you see this, you just got something. You are in the top 2% of the planet. You're in the top 2% in the history of the planet that even heard this. So.
Okay, well, that remains to be seen. But you know, I'm loving the confidence. I respect that.
So that's one of the benefits of having a B and an L in your name or being in this group. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. Probably did. What I'm going to do now, I guess, I'm going to see if I can release something. I've been studying a lot. Studying a lot of different other things. This is on a website called whoamiquestion.com.
I'm gonna stop it right there for real. That shit was, you know, it's still some more shit in there that I want to get to. Or it was a couple little things here and there throughout the rest of the conversation that I think, you know, I had to comment on. But I don't know how long this shit been going. Almost an hour. You know, I think I gotta, in order to get the full context, let me let that shit rock some more. And we gonna see. I'm gonna see if I need to cut it off.
I'm gonna read it as I'm looking at it. I was looking through a lot of different things. It's just not. It's on. I said abundance earlier. When you are in harmony, it almost takes a life of its own. It's just like in the Bible when it says, when two minds, when two people agree, a third mind is created. Well, if two people agree, anything is impossible. That's because, and we know that in a different. I completely said it backwards.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck that's at in the Bible. You gotta quote some scriptures on that one. A fucking third mind being created. I don't know. I think it says something about some people becoming one flesh. You know what I'm saying? It's about two entities coming together and becoming one, but not nothing third being created. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's a matter of interpretation. But I don't know. Yeah, that's a matter of interpretation, I guess.
I understand those of us that understand universal law, those with two minds coming together, it creates a third mind, a mastermind. It takes a life.
Oh, now that shit. When you say those of us, I guess he's definitely not talking about me. Two minds coming together, creating a mastermind. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. So I guess if you got good, if you and your lady on point with each other, y'all can be a mastermind together or some shit. I don't know, like Jay-Z and Beyonce or something. I don't know. That one is a tad bit beyond me. Let's continue.
From the song. It's even like relationships. That's why I cannot emphasize this enough. That's why I keep telling a woman has to have harmony. Because when you get in a relationship with anything and anybody, a third mind is created. And it has that third mind that's created on the intangible world is where your children come from. It's where your problems and your conflicts and where your benefits and your dreams come from. It's where it comes from. So if you're not making it harmonious, if you're not making, and it's intentional, and I'm going to give you the secret of the universe. The secret of the universe, the core of the universe is not love, and it's not consciousness. It's intention. It's a law. It's called the law of intent. Those things that are harmful or that creates destruction is called the law of diminishing intent. So when you intentionally work to harmonize, which we're not saying force it, it makes something what it's not. We're saying.
I think it was a little bit. As far as I know, I think I got it coming up or something like that. Diminishing intent is basically the the damage that's being done by inaction. You know what I'm saying? By inactivity, because you're not moving forward with anything, and you're just letting time go by. You're doing damage. You know what I'm saying? Basically wasting time. You know what I'm saying? By not doing what you intend on doing or whatever. Let's go.
When you're acknowledging the principles, which is the polarities of a thing, which is the law of polarities, when you are acknowledging, and that's why people trip, because this word acknowledging is extremely important. When you're acknowledging the makeup of somebody, the polarities of somebody, or something. Really, let's just talk people, because that's where we need the most work is with relationships, because relationships is a sixth density, sixth dimension, whatever you want to call it. Because everything exists in a relationship. Hermeticist, everything is bound by silver cord. Prophet Noble Ali, every living thing is bound by every living thing. So that's just, you see the consistency. Which is why it's so easy for me to get into this movement, because
that's not hard to understand. If the trees stop producing oxygen, we won't have air to breathe. If the sun stop producing, light and sun rays, the trees won't be able to photosynthesize. You know what I'm saying? The moon has a relation to the earth. You know what I'm saying? You motherfuckers get it. Y'all ain't dumb. Y'all got a little bit of sense in y'all brain.
It's the foundation of. It's literally. It's the closest. Well, it's the closest thing I've ever had to a religion that I actually dealt with religiously was universal laws. And even again, I'll even give that part.
And I think I wanted to stop on this part too, because I think this is where this is kind of a telling statement for me, because it's like where this I think this conversation lacks cohesion, because it's not a spiritual matter. You know what I'm saying? It's speaking about spiritual things, but it's speaking about it in like this technical type of way. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you're neglecting an element of who human beings are. You know what I'm saying? Human beings have a mind, they have a body, and they have a spirit. You know what I'm saying? So this whole conversation is incoherent because it's completely neglecting one element of who human beings are. We are spiritual beings. I don't give a shit what you know or what you think. Like what you feel, what you believe in. That's a fact. But it's something that I can't prove to you, other than when you die, your body stop moving, and then I think everything stop moving. So it's difficult to explain, but it's it's a key element that I think this conversation is missing. You feel me? The spiritual element. Because one thing that the Bible has that this Conversation don't is cohesion. It's a lot of cohesive shit going on. It's a lot of parallels and a lot of confirmation going on in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? How Moses' birth mirrors, Jesus' birth mirrors Moses's, and I bring that up because in a conversation about harmony and balance and masculine and feminine and the laws, genders, it's just and harmony being the subject, which is supposed to be feminine, and according to this conversation, and cohesion being something that's missing from the conversation, and I don't know, the fact that when both Moses and Jesus were born, the powers that be at the time, at both different times, demanded that the men, all of the boys under the age of 2, or just the young children, be murdered. So I don't know. For me, that's just a key. I just threw that in there. You know what I'm saying? Because all this talk about laws and energies and masculine and feminine, this is the unknown X. You feel me? But that's just for me, though. It's not for me to be trying to convert any of y'all. Religion, spiritualism is the unknown X. But that's a conversation for another time.
Like I've already did the same thing with law of attraction and repulsion. It's the law of, it's universal or divine or natural law and order. It's the both of them. And the law of harmony, why I'm so big on it, the law is easy. The law part is masculine. The order part is feminine. And if you do look at the etymology of the word harmony, you'll see the word order. It's more so on the order side. And order is way harder because order is understanding the pattern of the universe and the habit form of the universe and how it works. And the reason it's difficult is because it integrates, and how I was explaining it to you when I brought up law of polarities. Or I say these different laws because they work in conjunction with each other and they have almost a numerical frequency. It's like if, depending on the situation, you may have law of correspondence, that's most important, and you may have law of habit, or you may have law of reciprocity, or you could have a series of laws that are important to you to understand and adhere at this particular time, and it creates a whole new thing. So that's why when people try to say, not new, but when people say there's something new, or we hear the opposite, there's nothing new under the sun, that's the truth. There's nothing new. It's just a unique combination of things that already exist.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. That's a good place to stop it. Like I said, this was a fascinating conversation to me. It was very interesting, being that, as I stated multiple times, I agree with almost every single element that was introduced into this conversation. I just don't see how it came together. I saw how it came together in moments and short spurts. That's why I say this conversation narratively is a collection of short stories. There are sections that make sense, that connect to one another, but as a whole complete narrative, I could see what was trying to be done, but I just think it wasn't really driven home. You know what I'm saying? Like, what exactly the fuck is being talked about? I understand each and every last one of the elements and where it's supposed to be pointing me into the direction of, but it stops just short of, you know what I'm saying? It's like a nigga running 99 yards, you know what I'm saying? Breaking that bitch 99 yards and then just stopping and don't get the touchdown. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got 99 yards, but nigga, the game over. You ain't run that bitch in. You feel me? Like, you ain't get no points. think I'm pretty much done for real. That's the homie Miguel. I'm a link everything. I'm gonna link this conversation to this right here, to my shit, and I'm gonna tag him on it. You know what I'm saying? So he know. Maybe he'll get his shit a listen. He might respond. I don't know. But like I said, the homie, he went out of his way and gave out his time to talk and shit like that, and I saw it and felt like, extend the olive branch and chop it up. Also, get my 2 cents on the matter. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but there it is. Well, all y'all be safe. Talk to y'all later.